Have you ever heard of a river being brought back from the dead? Well, that's exactly what we're talking about today. We're diving into the incredible story of how one of the world's most polluted rivers was totally transformed from, well, a toxic sewer into the living, breathing heart of a city. Let's get right into it. I mean, just look at this. The difference is night and day, right? On one side, you've got an open sewer, but it was also a vital commercial lifeline, crammed with boats, waste, industry. And on the other, a clean, beautiful freshwater reservoir, a playground for everyone. And the craziest part is, this isn't two different places. This is the same river, just separated by a few decades and a whole lot of ambition. This is the Singapore River. So, to really get how amazing this rebirth is, we have to go back. We need to understand the river's first life, back when it was the crowded, chaotic, commercial heart of a colonial empire. Okay, so the river's story starts way, way back, as an ancient settlement. But the real turning point, the moment that changes everything, is 1819. That's when Sir Stamford Raffles shows up, sees this incredible potential for a trading post, and boom! For the next century and a half, trade just explodes. But of course, so did the pollution, until it all hit a crisis point in the 1970s. A huge part of this era were these things called go-downs. Just try to picture it. Rows and rows of these warehouses packed right up against the riverbanks, stuffed with goods from every corner of the globe. They were literally the engine rooms of Singapore's early economy, all happening right there on the water's edge. So let's paint a picture of what it was like back then. The river is just choked with these traditional cargo boats, bumboats they were called. You've got merchants shouting, the smell of spices in the air, mixed with the smell of raw sewage. It was total sensory overload. Chaotic, filthy for sure, but it was absolutely vital. This river was the beating economic heart of the entire colony. But that heart was failing, fast. By 1977, things had reached a breaking point and something had to give. And this brings us to the most dramatic chapter of the story, the absolutely audacious decision to launch a cleanup on a scale nobody thought was possible. I mean, that was the question, wasn't it? This wasn't just a dirty river. It was biologically dead, suffocated by decades and decades of garbage and waste. So where do you even start? How do you begin to reverse something like that? Well, the answer wasn't some quick and easy fix. It was a 10-year, all-hands-on-deck national commitment. Think about that. A decade. That single number, 10 years, it just speaks volumes about the sheer scale and the political will that was behind this mission. And this was so much more than just scooping trash out of the water. The plan was massive, incredibly complex. First, you had to move every single source of pollution. We're talking pig farms, street vendors, entire industries. Then, you had to resettle thousands of people who lived along the river into modern housing. And on top of that, build a whole new sanitation system from scratch. Only after all of that was done could they even start dredging the filth from the riverbed. So after a solid decade of nonstop work, the river was finally, miraculously, clean. But now what? A clean river needed a new reason to exist. The old era of trade was over. The new age of tourism and recreation was just about to begin. And what happened next was a complete reinvention. The river's whole identity just flipped. Its economic engine went from hauling cargo to serving tourists. All the main activities went from loading and unloading goods to river cruises and waterfront dining. It was a total 180-degree turn from a dirty industrial artery into this clean, vibrant recreational space. And if you go there today, those old quays, Boat Quay, Clarke Quay, they're buzzing with life, packed with restaurants and bars. Those old shop houses that used to store cargo, now they host diners from all over the world. Even the bumboats got a new job. Instead of hauling goods, they're now hauling tourists past landmarks like the famous Merlin. The river has a whole new, vibrant life. Maybe the best sign that this all really worked is this. The wildlife came back. You can actually see families of otters and monitor lizards just hanging out in the river now. And that's the ultimate proof, right? It shows this wasn't just a cosmetic cleanup. The ecosystem itself was actually reborn. The final genius piece of this whole puzzle was something called the Marina Barrage. They built a dam right at the mouth of the river, which did two incredible things. One, it stabilized the water levels, making it perfect for boating. And two, and this is the big one, it turned the entire river basin into a massive freshwater reservoir, a whole new source of drinking water for the city. So why are we talking about this? Why does this one river's story matter so much? Well, because in so many ways, the river's journey is the story of Singapore. It's not just a body of water. You could almost call it the nation's liquid soul. Seriously, think about it. The river's transformation from a muddy, chaotic port to a clean, polished global attraction, it's the perfect metaphor for the nation's own journey. The story of one perfectly mirrors the story of the other. And the success of this project didn't happen by accident. It really reflects the core values that have built modern Singapore. It took meticulous, long-term planning, a real commitment to green spaces, and the guts to forge a totally new path for economic growth. When you get right down to it, this quote says it all, really. Cleaning up the river wasn't just about managing pollution. It was a statement. It was a young country proving to itself and to the entire world what it could pull off with sheer determination and a clear vision. And that kind of leaves us with this final thought. The Singapore River proves that something that seems impossible, literally bringing a dead river back to life, can be done. It just makes you wonder, if a city can do that, what else is possible?